blood bleeding over Folly Beach. Shrimp boats rocking just out of reach. Marsh grass swaying like it knows my name. Same old river, but it ain't the same. Spanish moss in a live oak tree. She's barefoot dancing right next to me. Got a Dixie cup full of Tennessee gold and a story that her daddy told. We ain't in no hurry, baby, let it roll like the tide coming in on a Carolina soul. Yeah, living on low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that smile like a summer night under those Charleston lights. From the backwoods deer stand on to a dock where the redfish run. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little love and Saturday night. Palmetto moon in a shotgun sky, duck blind waiting as the birds fly by. Camouflage and a thermos cup, cold morning air gonna wake you up. Downtown King Street neon glow, she laughing loud at a country show. Got sand on boots from Sullivan Shore, says she ain't leaving, wants a little more. Every mile marker down Highway 17 feels like a memory wrapped in gasoline. We're living on low country line, salt in the air and whiskey on ice. Girls that shine like a harvest moon, singing every word out of tune. From the pine woods to the ocean side, we run these roads like a rising tide. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just a little faith and a Friday night. Cypress knees and Carolina rain, football lights and a freight train. From Columbia down to Beaufort town, you can feel that heartbeat in the ground. Raise it up for the old homestay, for the ones we love and the ones we wait for. Every backward memory made in the life where the good Lord stay. We're living on low country lines, whiskey burning, sweet tea wine. Girls that love like a hurricane, but kiss you soft like summer rain. From the deer woods to the attic blue, there ain't no place like me and you. Yeah, we don't need much to feel just right, just South Carolina and a Saturday night.
Tailgate, y'all.
Your attention, please.
You're listening worldwide to DJ Magic Mike.
We're gonna have a good time
on BigPatriotRadio.com.
That's right, we are. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Glad to have you here.
You are listening to the House of Cards. You're watching it, listening to it right here on Facebook, YouTube, and simulcasting worldwide on BigPatriotRadio.com. It's April 30th, man. We made it through the whole month, and it seemed like it just started like that. Welcome, everyone watching and listening. It is, again, my name is Mike Covert, coming to you live from the Big Patriot Radio studios here in the great state of South Carolina. So glad to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, don't forget to like and follow and share, especially share the stream to your friends and your contacts. Let them know that you're watching. And hey, take a few minutes out, settle down with dinner's over. The dishes can wait till later. Grab a cocktail or a favorite water beverage and some popcorn and listen. And you may be surprised what you end up hearing. If you're listening in on BigPatriotRadio.com, we thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to want to hear from you soon. Everybody that's watching, if you see right here, this little QR code, go ahead and snap a picture of that. That is the link to buymeacoffee.com. And man, we really appreciate that. That's the greatest way. Buy me a coffee after a hard show where my throat is dying, and it helps support us. I want to say thanks. And I do this every week, and I do it on purpose because it is greatly appreciated to those folks who've already done that. Thank you. PB of Bluffton, thank you for your support. Yahoozy12, thank you. Any MOUSS Star, thank you. Inparto 523, thank you so much. BG, thank you for all your support. Let's see who else. I want to thank Gemini 8224. Bob and Chuck 180, as well as Cad M17 and Peter Cottontail 26 and Cliff W53. Love all these names. Thank you for your support, and it's greatly appreciated.
Everything that rocks is right here. Right here.
Let's rock.
With Big Patriot Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, we're going to jump right into it. Now, you had, obviously, you saw the links to the show, the advertisements today, and these cool graphics. I mean, let me switch back over here to this. This graphic, I mean, is that not cool or what? I mean, I'm not embellishing. I'm just saying that's pretty daggum cool. I kind of like it. And so everybody saw that. And we do those every week and during the week and other stuff. And, when there's like nothing else to do. Anyway, we had mentioned a couple times that the current lieutenant governor and gubernatorial candidate Pamela Yvette was going to make a guest appearance, a surprise appearance. Right before the show, I had a phone call from one of her handlers. She has stepped into another appearance. Not going to be able to do it tonight, but we have already got her scheduled for next Thursday. We got to work out a time, but she wants to talk about this South Carolina State debacle, mustercluck that's going on involving her and the GOP and South Carolina State. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it. I do have an opinion of something that I'll share with you later, and I'm going to share with her. She hasn't heard it yet. But anyway, that just want to let you know that. Now, speaking of politicos, former governor and congressman Mark Sanford, if you haven't heard this, has suspended his congressional race only a mere weeks after jumping in. He says he is going to focus on a national grassroots effort on debt and spending. So he used this couple of weeks to test the waters. Didn't cost him a penny. He had like $2 million sitting there. So why not use it? Anyway, if you hadn't heard about that, now you do. Quick reminder, if you'd like to have your business logo, name, spotlight, recognition on the election show right here on Beaufort County's House of Cards and BigPatriotRadio.com, that is going to be on June 9th. That is the primary here in South Carolina. We have sponsorship ads available. Reach out to us on social media. You can also email me at Big Patriot Radio. I think I have that here somewhere. BigPatriotRadio@gmail.com. There you see it. Ads start at, I think the They begin at $50, and I think the most expensive is like $200 or $250. And they go from they're just all over the place. We have one of our awesome viewer signed their business up last week for the $100 level, so they're going to have their logo, their name mentions, commercials, all that kind of stuff getting started very soon. So again, election night is June the 9th. That is for all parties, as far as Democrat and Republican. As we heard last week, Libertarian does their own thing at a state conference. You get the picture. June 9th, that's the big election show right here, Beaufort County's House of Cards and BigPatriotRadio.com. Tune in for that.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
Again, I want to thank the guest we had last week. Libertarian Bill Rezide came on his run for Congress, District 1. Great conversation with the guy. I love that. And also then Shannon DeLoach, Democrat out of the St. Helena and Southern Colleton County area. He is going to go to fight for the Democrat ticket on South Carolina House seat 121, currently held by Michael Rivers. Appreciate both those guys coming on here. Even had a conversation today. There's been some folks who they're pretty much rhinos in the Republican Party. Covert's colluding with the Democrats because I had a Democrat on. That's just shows what an asshat those people really are. Because I said it as both those gentlemen came on, and I mean it afterwards. We have more in common than we do that separates us. You just have to be able to talk. Well, anyhow, real quick. Let's see. I told you about this last week, and I have let me go back into it. I had several Democrats, 3 last week and one more single one by themselves, contacted me this week about the GOP state executive committee woman who has sought them out. Now, again, I sent an email to Kevin Henley, the GOP chair, today. And I said, hey, this isn't hearsay. This isn't third or fourth hand information. I don't want to be accused of that. This came, and the other 3 people and the one just yesterday, this came from them. They said, I was approached, okay? And I talked to your state executive committee woman, Ms. Jodan Lee, and she came to us, and I'm going to paraphrase for all 4 because they all said the same thing, basically, and wanted us to vote in the GOP primary since there is no Democrat candidate for the District 11 County Council race. That's Tom Reitz versus Elizabeth Galloway. Would you please vote in the GOP race and share your vote for Elizabeth Galloway? All right, Tom Reitz is the incumbent. Fully support Tom Reitz. Elizabeth Galloway, again, former dentist. I understand she can clean teeth like nobody's business. She is staying away from media. She's been told to stay far away from this show because we keep people accountable and we hold their feet to the fire. But this is what the GOP party, because they haven't said anything, they obviously are condoning. Now, in my email to Kevin Henley today, I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I don't want to accuse you of condoning this until you tell me you're condoning this. Are you condoning this? Do you accept this kind of behavior? Anyway, changing lanes right quick. Let's talk about something. This sounds good on the surface, and you hear about it a lot. It gets a whole lot more complicated the moment you hold it up to the Constitution. That would be holding it up against the Constitution. What is that conversation? That conversation would be hate crime ordinances. Ooh, nobody wants to talk about that. It's kind of like saying, give me your opinion on abortion. Oh, man, I don't want to talk about that. Well, I don't want to talk about hate crime ordinances. Well, before anybody jumps to conclusions here, let's be clear about one thing right out of the gate, okay? I believe that crimes are wrong. Fair enough. All crimes are wrong. Assault is wrong. Vandalism is wrong. Murder is wrong. Rape is wrong. Domestic violence is wrong. Stealing is wrong. Threats are wrong, period. It doesn't matter who the victim is. Those acts are already illegal. And they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That's where normal thinking people should have a common, or at least a commonality there. But here's where the concern comes in. When counties and municipalities start passing these hate crime ordinances, what they're often doing is going beyond punishing the criminal act, insert crime here, and stepping into the territory of punishing thought, motive, or speech. Okay? And that's where constitutional red flags start waving like crazy. Because in this country, under the United States Constitution, and especially the First Amendment, the government does not have the authority to punish you for what you think or what you believe. That's not a crime. The U.S. Constitution prohibits you being punished for your thoughts or what your beliefs are. That's just not philosophy. That's been reinforced by the courts. In RAV versus City of St. Paul, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a local ordinance that criminalized certain types of hate speech, ruling that the government cannot selectively prohibit speech based upon its content or viewpoint. In other words, you don't get to ban speech simply because it's offensive or unpopular. That's a direct warning, a blatant direct warning to local governments. Tread carefully in this space. Okay, everyone who's either on county council or town councils or running for town council or running for county council or even school boards, please pay attention there. Tread carefully in that space. Now, proponents of these ordinances will say, and we've heard this here in this state, well, you know, we're not punishing speech. We're enhancing penalties for crimes motivated by hate. We've heard it. We hear it almost daily. And that sounds reasonable. Again, most people say, well, that sounds reasonable. Right? Oh, okay. But start digging a little deeper. Start unpacking that conversation. How do you determine hate? How do you determine that? How do you prove motive? And more importantly, who is the one who gets to define that? Because now you're not just prosecuting the act, you're prosecuting the reason behind the act. You're asking government officials to step inside someone's mind and assign a penalty based not just on what they did, but on why they did it. That's dangerous. That is super, super dangerous. But it's a road also that the courts have wrestled with. In Wisconsin versus Mitchell, you may be familiar with that. The Supreme Court did uphold a state-level penalty. That's right. That penalty was enhancement for bias-motivated crimes, but with an important distinction. The court emphasized that the law punished conduct, not speech, and that it fit within a broader, carefully construct state criminal framework. That's a very different form of a patchwork of local ordinances that may not be as narrowly tailored or as constitutionally sound. And folks, that distinction matters because counties and municipalities don't have the same legislative depth. They don't have the same constitutional scrutiny built into their laws. When they try to replicate or expand on these concepts without precision, they risk crossing the line. Because they did it, we're going to do it, doesn't fit. That's not an appropriate reasoning. Well, they did it, so will I. Do you let your kids say, well, Johnny stole bubble gum at Publix, so why can't I? There's also the issue, a minor little issue here, of equal protection under the law. The 14th Amendment guarantees that every citizen is treated equally. 14th, that's 14th Amendment. Every citizen's to be treated equally. The law is supposed to be blind. Lady Justice cannot see. Justice is supposed to be impartial. But when you start enhancing penalties based on the identity of the victim, key part here, when you enhance penalties based upon the identity of the victim or the perceived motive of the offender, you risk creating a system where the same crime carries different consequences depending upon subjective interpretations of intent. That is another dangerous road. That raises serious constitutional questions, especially when applied inconsistency at the local level. I'm sure if you're starting to wrap your head around this, you can see how these hate crime ordinances could blow up in an astronomical way in the face of the governing body, the political body, the state, the county, the town, the whatever. And then there's the overreach. You see that local governments are not Congress. Many local government people think they are congressmen or women or senators. They're not. They're local, and it's most important if they only realize they don't have to behave and think that they are congressmen or senators. They're local town council, school board, county council, but they're like the most important of the entire triangle of government, publicly elected officials to government. These local governments don't have unlimited authority. When they begin passing ordinances that push into complex constitutional territory, speech, thought, intent, they risk stepping outside of their lane. Courts have made it clear that vague or overtly broad laws are a problem. We have been saying for ad nauseum for months and months and months that Beaufort County, who is being pressed or has been being pressed on these hate crime ordinances, because Bluffton did it, City of Beaufort, I believe, did it. They better be careful because they're going down a road, the road we just paved in front of you, that is dangerous. Because they did it doesn't mean it's right, and it doesn't mean it has the same weight as you. County, town, school. In the city of Chicago versus Morales, another very popular Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court struck down a local ordinance for being too vague. How about that? Essentially ruling that laws must be clearly defined so people understand what is and what isn't prohibited. Totally understand that. So ask yourself, when a local ordinance starts trying to define something as subjective as hate, does it meet that standard? Or does it open a door, the door, to arbitrary enforcement? Because vague laws don't just create confusion, they create an opportunity for abuse. And that's exactly what the Constitution is designed to prevent, the abuse. Now, none of this is to say that crime shouldn't be punished. Because someone beats somebody else's ass doesn't mean that that's not hate. In my opinion, there is a level of hate because you beat someone's tail. If I beat Joe's tail and Fred beats Joe's tail to the same level, they should both be punished. We should both be punished equally. We already have strong laws on the books that do this. The real question is whether local government should be stepping in to the constitutionally sensitive territory trying to regulate motive, thought, or expression in ways that may not survive judicial scrutiny. From a conservative constitutional perspective, that alone, if you are a conservative constitutionalist, all the above perspective, that should give you pause. Because once you open that door, once you allow government to weigh in on what someone was thinking or what they believe, you set a precedent. Now, people like Larry McKellen, who is leaving county council, as an example, even said it publicly in an interview with the Post and Courier, talking about hate crime and hate crime ordinance in Beaufort County. He said, quote, if an elected body passes an ordinance, it is immediately unconstitutional unless it is challenged in court. It has to be challenged and a court of competent jurisdiction can make a determination that it is unconstitutional. And this guy was the chief magistrate in Beaufort County at one time. What kind of person literally believes just because Beaufort County Council or the City of Beaufort Town Council or the Town of Hilton Head Council passes an ordinance that it's automatically constitutional? I got news for you. There's a lot of things that all the above pass that are not constitutional. Why? Well, the majority of the people that sit on those boards aren't constitutionally minded folks. Yeah, there's a lawyer here or there, but that's not what the day-to-day job of council person A, B, and C is. And quite frankly, some of the legal representation these body politics have is less than to be desired, because they should catch it before it goes to ordinance. Anyway, I will tell you who. Well, let me rephrase that. There is, I guess it's one example of people losing their understanding of what it means to represent citizens. People that run for office sometimes, and we've had them here before, they mean well, they say the right thing, and they get in office, and all of a sudden they are representing the government, not the people. The whole idea is you run for the people's vote to represent the people to the government. You're not representing the government. The government's best intentions don't always align with the citizens. That's kind of like USA 101. The citizens need representation. In Beaufort County, and I'll just use that for an example, there are 11 people who represent the 200,000 folks that are in this county. There are 11 county council people. It's not a tete-a-tete versus the government bureaucrats, even though it was sort of designed that way. Hey, I'm county council person from District X. I represent these 25,000 people, 20,000, whatever it is, 17,000. And they want this, not that. Well, the government said, well, we're going to do this. Okay. The same thing with hate crimes. The hate crime ordinance. You're creating a precedent that might not be in the best interest of those people. Today, it may be one category. Tomorrow, it may be another. Right now, we're just happen to be talking about hate crime ordinances. And eventually, you're going to find that the same power used to target one group can be used against another group and another group and another group. And it shouldn't be that way. That's why hate crime ordinances are in and of themselves instinctively bad and detrimental, because we already have crimes on the books. If you believe that someone has created, or not created, but done a crime, they should be tried for that. Something is going off in my ears. They should be tried for that. Not because I think he is at heart a Muslim or I believe she is racist. You're getting into people's head. That's not what the law is set for. The Constitution draws hard lines, not to protect bad behavior. Check this, not to protect bad behavior, but to protect freedom. Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, equal protection under the law. Those principles don't change on emotion, and they don't get rewritten at the county level. It's the same Constitution. Just because county council or town council sits, they don't have a different set of interpretations of the Constitution. So anyway, back to the subject is, so when you hear about, localized, wherever you're listening from, we got people in like 11 states watching right now. When your location, township, county, whatever, comes up with a hate crime ordinance or the subject thereof, don't just react to the name. Look at the substance. Look at the constitutional implications. Look at the legal precedent. Good intentions don't override constitutional limitations. And if we're serious about protecting both justice and liberty, then, we have to be able, quite frankly, to be able to ask tough questions, even about laws that sound good on the surface. Yes, even about laws that sound good on the surface. There are many folks who have said we need to have hate crime laws in South Carolina. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good and that whole social construct. That's good. We're going to attack that. But we're serious. If we're going to be serious about protecting liberty and justice, we have to ask those tough questions, especially when something just sounds good on the surface. That's not being insensitive. That's being responsible.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, we have our first, actually both guests are back in the green room. The cookies and brownies must be good back there tonight for them both to be there. I hope they're paying attention when we get to have them on. Anyway, we have a big announcement. Let me see. Do we have any a drum roll? That was weak. Bongos don't cut it. Okay? All right. Big announcement. Here goes. I want you to call your neighbors after you've gone up here and clicked on Buy Me a Coffee because it's getting rough already and we're only a half hour in. Call your neighbors, get out your calendars, put it on the calendar now. BigPatriotRadio.com and Beaufort County's House of Cards, along with Heather Rath Consulting, is proud to announce that on May 19th, that's May 19th, late afternoon, early evening, we're going to be hosting a GOP sheriff candidate forum here in the mid part of the county, in the Bluffton area, free of charge, no charge. You come on out. It's going to be a live event, free of charge, either Bluffton High School, I believe, or Red Cedar Elementary, not sure which one, featuring JoJo Woodward and Doug Seifert. Now, this event is not sponsored by or in conjunction with the Beaufort County GOP party whatsoever. Rather smarter, independent thinking minds who bring voices, bringing candidate into the public for everyone to hear and for everyone to ask. There are going to be questions that we will pose to the candidates. And no, someone asked earlier, knew about this. What about the Democrat Smalls guy? No, that's later. This is for the GOP. This is JoJo Woodward and Doug Seifert. They're running for the GOP nod. You are going to be able to ask questions as well. Now, you're going to have to pay attention to my Facebook page is the Michael E. Covert, Mike Covert, Beaufort County's House of Cards, Big Patriot Radio, Heather Rath and Heather Rath Consulting Facebook pages. We will have an Eventbrite link where you're going to need to click, and that's how you'll get a ticket. All the instructions will be on there. No charge. And before somebody says They're trying to make $5. No, there is no charge. Nobody's going to make any money off of anybody. No charge. Everyone is welcome to come. Everyone who goes through the Eventbrite process can come in. Everyone, I don't care what party you play in, everyone can come in there. No charge, no fees, no entry fees. Everyone is welcome. So any questions with that? Obviously, like I said, you can send me an email, bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. That's bigpatriotradio@gmail.com. Pay attention to my Facebook pages. Heather Rath Consulting, pay attention to her pages. We're trying to nail down that time and the school. We're just away. But May 19th in the late afternoon, early evening, you definitely are going to want to come, whether you're on Hilton Head or St. Helena or Bluffton or anywhere in between, and listen to real questions to the candidates from real people and you. All right. First guest going to be coming on. Let's get to him. Thomas is a retired United States Marine officer, husband, and father running for County Council District number 4. The County Council District number 4 is Port Royal, the city of Beaufort, Shell Point, and part of the city of Beaufort, not the entire city, but Port Royal, Shell Point, that kind of area that wraps around, Paris Island and up through there before you get to the 170 and 280 intersection. Anyway, Thomas has experience in the Beaufort County Probate Court and is currently pursuing his degree in history and pre-law. He intends on attending the law school in 2027. Again, he's a retired Marine Corps officer. He has a background rooted in service, focused on common sense leadership that prioritizes fiscal responsibility, strong infrastructure, and thoughtful growth for Beaufort County and the community in which he lives. I would like you to join me in welcoming Mr. Thomas Grigowski to the show. Did I say that right?
Oh, no, Mike, great. You did very well. All right. Thank you. And you know what? I almost want to go back to the waiting room because the cookies were so good back here. All right. So
I hear you.
Yes.
Thomas, first of all, thank you, sir, for your service.
Thank you.
What was your MOS? What did you do in the Marine Corps?
Well, I started off, I was a young man over here. I came in when I was 17. My mother had to sign the paperwork, and this was during the initial invasion. I was like the one, I think there were 2 kids from my high school that enlisted into the Marine suburbs of Chicago. So, not a lot of people join the military from there. But my mom wouldn't have signed me up unless I was some sort of support role, right? Because, when you're young, you just want to be on the front line thinking that's cool. Sure. And then I was very lucky. I ended up being a jet engine mechanic on the F-18. This place was my first duty station. Wow. And it was exactly what I wanted. My recruiter was, he came from aviation as well. And he was explaining things, but, when you're 17, ready to leave home to, go into the big wide world, you're really not listening to these things. You just want to go to boot camp. And I was lucky because it was everything the commercials said it was going to be, right? Yeah. Running around with rifles and then learning how to march. And it was, a real adventure. I was very lucky to do it.
That is, were you in the northwest suburbs or what part of Chicago?
I was. So if you ever flew into Chicago, sir, you've definitely flown over my house. I mean, into O'Hare, you've definitely flown over. It's a little town called Palatine, northwest suburbs of Chicago.
Absolutely. Used to live in Cary and then Woodstock.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Small world, huh? Yeah.
You go down to Arlington Heights to the Ponies.
Yes.
And, ride the train into Des Plaines and take another train into the airport area. So that's good. That's quite, that's a culture shock.
It is.
For a kid from Palatine, Illinois, to come put his feet on those boot prints on the asphalt.
Yes, sir. The yellow footprints.
What was how did the Marine Corps for you change the Thomas Grigowski of 17 coming into it? How was he when he came out of it?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a big dose of reality, and it was very well needed. I grew up. It's a very stable family. My parents were together up until the very end. My father passed a few years ago, and my mother lives down the street here now. She's not in Palatine anymore. And it was it was everything that I needed. Grew up in I would say probably a very liberal part of the world, right, or in Chicago, and school specifically university, it was getting pushed immediately. It was a lot of these kids from when we were in grade school. This happened right when I left. They called it No Excuses U for No Excuses University. But from grade school, they post up all of the big major schools. So you have Loyola, you have U of I, you have all of this, all of this kind of posters that are in grade schools, trying to get the mentality, of all the kids to go into schools. And of course, they're not pushing the trades, they're not pushing the military. And you know what? And think about it. I mean, the whole culture, right? From the teachers that are down there, where did they come from? They came from that pipeline. So that was just essentially what they were expounding upon. And, but for me, very good. Came here and, I was a little disappointed when I came to Buford the first time because I was 18, right? And I wanted to go to the big city where they made the Top Gun movie, Miramar. And, they have all the airplanes, they have all the people, the weather's perfect. But, wow, what a saving grace that I came here to Buford, right? And then mother also, when my mother and father would come down here and visit me, they would say, they've seen the area grow up, like when I was growing up. So from 18 years old up until, 24, 25, I decided to make the Marines a career. And, it was perfect. And the reason being, because it's not just sitting down academics. I'm going through school right now. I'm a little more mature. I can actually sit down, appreciate the teacher, appreciate the background, understand, I can stay up late, do the homework assignments because I know how important it is. I'm very thankful. I have Uncle Sam, the GI Bill, is covering my school right now. So it is something that I'm very blessed to have. And it was what I needed. It was physical labor. It's working with people. It's being outside, being in the elements, and all of this is what it took to maintain the aircraft. And really, the coordination that you saw with these people coming from all walks of life and from all parts of the country, working together, it was a real masterclass on how to behave and also and how to work with others. I wanted to get out right when I, I felt that, I did my time. I didn't, at this time, I didn't go to Iraq yet. I had to re-enlist to go to Iraq with the unit I was with. But my father, I saw the world because I went to Japan twice and went everywhere else in between and saw Europe as well. But my father was like, son, are you kidding me? He's like, you've been in for 5 years? You're already at E5? And you hold on, you get a pension after 20 years? It's like, what do you want to come back just to go to Loyola in the city? Because Loyola had a cool name, right? And I thought it was college. So I'm like, of course, Dad. So my father was a very big influence in my life, a very positive way, not just for, being say, hey, son, you should stay in, you should make a career out of it, much more than that. So I am very thankful. Yeah.
So let me ask you, you had a career in the Marine Corps, going to law or a pre-law, you want to go to law school. What made you, what pushed the button for you to say, you know what, this county council thing, let me give this a shot?
Yes, very good question. So I wasn't thinking about it at all. It wasn't on the radar, not one bit. I was focusing on, I'm a father of 2 daughters, so my life revolves around taking them to dance practice and taking them to gymnastics and doing my homework late at night right after we tuck them in. And a never-ending honey-do list. Sorry, my wife just walked in, but a never-ending honey-do list that I'm always in trouble for. So I'm just kind of always managing these things. But a good friend of mine who I met down here, we were neighbors down in Port Royal, and we've been keeping in touch every once in a while, just checking in, no more than just, hey, how you doing every other month? When my daughters would go through First Communion, we'd invite them over, and just to, for that mass. But other than that, he was thinking about running. And then he has his own reasons, but he didn't want to do it. And then he said, hey, Tom, you know what? There's no one else that I would definitely that I would recommend this position for you. It's like your personality, how you work with people, and also just your aspirations. And it's very true. I mean, yes, one day, I wanted to be a lawyer. This isn't something that I immediately was, laser focused on. It came through practicality. My wife's a real estate agent, and I was actually, my mom was still in Chicago when she was purchasing her house down here, and I had to I'm probably using the wrong terminology, but like bidirection or power of attorney. I had to sign her name, power of attorney. And I was in this law office and I'm signing my mom's name via Thomas Grigowski via power of attorney on this date in this law office. I had to sign this like 300 times on this massive mortgage paperwork. And that's exactly when I thought that, hey, this is very interesting. This is the law. This is practical application. This is working with people. This is, just a sign of the world that I've never seen before. And this is what I want to do.
So with county council, there are, we have 11 districts in Beaufort County. And quite frankly, you could almost say all 11 districts are unique of themselves. Mm-hmm. There's a couple that share, and come to mind is like 10 and 11, which is on Hilton Head, and there's not a huge amount of difference. There is some, but not much. But your district, Port Royal, Shell Point, part of the city of Beaufort, it has its own issues. Sewer, connectivity, drainage, stormwater drainage is a huge one.
Yes.
What is it that you see your district, District 4, what does it need? What do the people need that they haven't been getting that you can, bring to the table and say, hey, let's have the conversation?
Oh, no, absolutely. So, what is that? I think it's accountability. You've been mentioning it. I was listening to you, when I was in the cookie room waiting. Mm-hmm. And it's very true, specifically when we're talking about taxes, right? What's the government's response to everything? Let's raise taxes, right? That's always the answer. And, but no, we're going to do things a little different. We're going to raise taxes a little differently now. And now we're going to raise taxes with line items so you can see them. I don't always think that's the answer. I think that District 4 is very unique. It is pretty much all built up minus. There's a lot, everyone's eyeballing what's going to happen with Safe Harbor down here at the port. Mm-hmm. But again, that's a running thing, right? That's been going on for years, and it's stuff that we'll monitor. However, you're right. It's all of I would say, the unpopular things. It's all of the stormwater. It's all the backup. And we really, at this point, we just need to, I would say, roll up our sleeves and focus on our spending problem and our spending issues. There's still money. It's not accounted for from 2018. I don't think passing a new tax, especially when 60% of the citizens inside this district are senior citizens, that they can't go pick up some overtime, right? And so just thinking about that, I think, and taking consensus again from hopefully what soon will be my constituents about what their thoughts are. But from what I've been hearing, it's not something that they're interested in.
Anytime someone says, "Hey, no new taxes," and B, I want to hear what my constituents say.
Yes,
I love hearing that.
Thank you.
I've mentored a couple of, they're not new anymore, county council members. And I thought this way when I was on county council, but hey, I'm here because of all those people who checked my name.
Yes, sir.
Not because I did anything great. It's not that. It's because of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad your mindset is there. So let's, have you had a chance to speak to the current county council chair or the woman, county councilwoman who happens to be chair
yes.
in your district, Alice Howard? Have you had a chance to talk to her?
Yes, I have not about specific. It was much more of a meet and greet, right? I came in from, I guess you could say, no one knew me, right? I mean, I'm just dad out here. I'm just someone shuffling children around. But I didn't come from inside the party. All of this, the internal mechanisms of the party, the internal mechanisms of how Beaufort works. So I'm learning a lot of this from catching reruns of the show. And this is stuff that, I'm going into this, one, with a very open mind, and two, learning as I'm going along. I've only been doing it for 3 weeks. I'm not going to lie to you, Mike. I can't tell you how much the bridge costs. I can't tell you how much the sidewalk is down the street or what they're going to contract it for. But what I can say is that if given the opportunity, if given the seat, of course, you need to scrutinize. You need to make sure that everything is done. You're getting the best deal before you sign, before you hit the little spend button or buy button on the Amazon account. So that's what I would do. As far as when I did a meet and greet with Alice, it was just that. She was just asking me my history, why I would want to do this. And there's a few things. One, this is going to sound a little silly, but I want to say I thanked her because, 10 years ago, you drive through District 4 and it looks very similar to how it looks like right now. And I know that didn't happen one overnight. And I know that, that took definitely a lot of oversight. And I just hope that, that's one thing that I would keep the momentum of, right? I just want to hold that reputation of that specifically. So one of the other things that the District 4 representative is going to have is a relationship, hopefully a good relationship, with both the City of Beaufort Town Council and the City Council in the town of Port Royal. Again, very different than a lot of folks on county council. You've got two town councils, two municipalities to play with. What is your opinion of municipalities and counties as far as being able to play nice together? Is that even possible? You know what, sir? I absolutely think it is. I think it takes the right people. I think that I've been put in situations when I was in the military. We all marched to the beat of the same drum. However, I would be put with people that had very large egos. Some of these guys couldn't be in the same room together, right? But at the end of the day, we all had to accomplish the mission. And I was kind of the center of the hourglass. People would come up with plans, and then it would have to filter through me before it would go down to the maintenance crews on how we were actually going to accomplish that. So when it comes to working, I don't view this as a chore. I don't view this as some Everest that can't be climbed. I mean, people are people. Human nature doesn't change. And as long as I'm willing to work with people, as long as I'm willing to listen to them, then I feel that this is an opportunity that I would definitely excel in.
Let me ask you, this is going to sound completely silly. I'm going to ask it because I have a secondary follow-up.
Go ahead, sir.
What is your opinion when you think of Thomas Grigowski of truth, honesty, and integrity?
So this is it. This is how I live my life. Truth, honesty, integrity. What do I lean on? I lean on my upbringing. I lean on my professional work. And, when I say professional work, Mike, how did I learn these lessons? By making every mistake in the book. I told you that I was and I'm open and honest about that. I told you that I was a mechanic. Well, when I came back as an officer, Mike, I had that know-it-all mechanic mentality. It was very hard for me to see, we say kids, right? To see the young Marines, right? Go out there, do something that I did 10 years ago. I could probably done it faster than them or quicker, or maybe someone didn't show them the way I knew, but it was very hard for me to take a step back and realize I am not that mechanic anymore. I'm not that doer. It is my responsibility and my role to ensure that they have everything that they need and that they have all the support also to back it up. And, I feel that is, and how did I learn that? By making these mistakes, by saying, oh no, or trying to do it myself. And then realizing that, maybe the job did get done for that specific period, for that specific point. Maybe I did gain an inch by correcting someone in a meeting, showing them how smart I was because, I changed out this part 10 years ago. However, the ground that I lost, with the loss of trust and confidence. And of course, if you're working with a know-it-all, what are people going to do? They're just going to clam up. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
If I had, and I didn't think about this actually, and I didn't know you were an aviation mechanic. I did not know that. But if I had to put some trust in someone, whether I was a pilot or not, I would want to trust my mechanic.
Yes.
On that bird. So that is, and I'm glad to hear that because that is very, very important. What they say about integrity and trust and so forth is, it's not what you do in front of the people on the dais. It's what happens when you're not in front of the dais.
Exactly. Yes.
So many times, and I've counseled some other council members that it's you've got to do what you said you were going to do, even when that camera's turned off or the limelight's off. I'm glad to hear you say that. Let me look real quick as we're running out of time.
Yes, sir.
What is, what is the, if you had one thing that you could tell the voters in District 4, there should be somewhere around 17,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you could tell them that, hey, this is the reason why I'm your best choice. What would those voters, what would they hear from Thomas Grgowski on why they should, check your name?
Oh, absolutely. One, I don't know it all. I'm not even going to pretend that I do. I live here. I work here. I am bought in here. I am raising my children here. And this place is home for me. This place is home for the future. I want my girls to come back here 15 years from now and recognize where they grew up. And if I can be a part of that, if I can keep Buford beautiful, if I can keep its, its natural scenery, if I can keep its historical value, preserve it, and also explain it for future generations, then yes, absolutely, I would be your man.
Real quick here, as we finalizing this up, there's a lot of things that people will, if you are the county council member for District 4, that they're going to come to you and they're going to complain about, the traffic lights in Port Royal. Maybe there's not even more than one, but the traffic lights there, or the potholes in the city of Buford, or the waterfront park. In other words, a lot of stuff that you have no control over.
Correct.
So your vote, while it's important to listen and all of that, but your vote will decide some things in parts of the county that you don't live in and your constituents don't live in. One of the biggest things we have across this county right now is infrastructure.
Yes.
Or a lack thereof.
Correct.
You mentioned it earlier at the top of this. We'll have things from 2018, the sales tax referendum.
Correct.
County council and the county have still not done.
Yes.
There is about zero trust left there.
Yes.
And yes, there are rumors that they want to come back for another penny sales tax. I find that almost laughable that they think somebody is going to vote for this. How do you plan on getting your 10 colleagues, if you're on county council, together and say, we have got to rebuild this trust, and we don't have a lot of time. We've got to do it now.
That's true.
How do you herd up 10 people and start to begin? And this probably isn't fair because you haven't seen behind the scenes yet, but Correct. It's still people. You're still Correct. A leader. You're still wanting to get a group of people to do good work, just like the Marine Corps. Yes. So how do you get those 10 recruits, AKA your fellow council members, how do you get them in line to rebuild the trust with the public?
That's true. Well, first things first is one step at a time. All right. You have to work with the individuals, and you also have to realize that, none of us plan in a vacuum. We are districts, but there's no walls around it. These aren't castles. We're not our own fiefdoms, right? We really do need to, one, look after what our constituents are saying within our districts, but then also understand that, it's, nothing here is new, right? It was U.S. News or something. Jasper County is the largest growing county within South Carolina, or within the country, I believe. And then where are these people driving, right? They're driving on our old infrastructure. Why? Because there's only so many restaurants in Jasper. So they're coming over here. They're using Buford's resources, or using Buford's restaurants, or using Buford shopping centers. This is something that as a council, if we just try to address it within our own individual, districts, I know it won't come. If there's one thing that I could do is if I could work together with the other council members and understand, the difference of the municipalities and the county and how they can work together really to achieve the goal of having a better Buford around. This is what I would do. It would be one step at a time.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Only thing, a piece of advice is, and you've probably already done this, seek out people like my buddy, the mayor there in Port Royal, and have a chat with him. the other members of and I don't know them all. Mary Beth, I know her well, but same with the city of Beaufort. You know, Josh Scalati will talk to anybody.
Yes.
Go see Phil Cromer and you know, and start those relationships. Thomas Grigowski running for District 4 in Beaufort County. Thomas, I hate that we have to go already. It's straight up 8 o'clock here on BigPatriotRadio.com and Beaufort County's House of Cards. Want to thank you. We want you to come back hopefully before the primary on June 9th. Got a big show that night. I know we're going to have your opponent on here hopefully in the next week or two.
Okay.
And, I'd love to have both of you guys on and have a civil conversation about District 4 and what the needs are.
Okay.
Thank you
sir.
very much. All right. Thomas Grigowski, everybody. Thank you. All right. Again, it is straight up 8 o'clock.
Bringing you the best selection of hits for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right, we're going to bring on our next guest already, and it is 8 o'clock here on a Thursday. We're glad to have this next guest with us, Beth Gillespie, running for County Council District 9. Excuse me there, that was District 9, which is majority of the town of Bluffton. Defusky Island. So all of you Defusky Islanders I see out there watching, you want to pay attention here. New Riverside, parts of Pritchardville, Palmetto Bluff, that whole western swath and southwestern swath of the county is District 9. Beth was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She's got 5 kids, 9 grandkids, and 1 on the way. She's been coming to Bluffton since 1996 or so and been here permanently since I think it's 2020, 2021, something like that. She is in the insurance industry and is a brokerage underwriter. I don't believe we have any insurance folk on our county council. I do not believe. Beth, in talking with her, claims honesty, and integrity are core values. And she believes that elected officials work for the people. Praise God. We were just talking about that. Her campaign slogan, I found this interesting and funny. Her campaign slogan back in high school, that's when many of us, started getting into this thing, was that she said, "Get ahead and vote for red. You'll see why." Please join me in welcoming Beth Gillespie to the show. How about that? Get ahead and vote red.
It still haunts me.
How about that? Hey, I think, that's, you could play on that a lot of different ways. I think that's awesome.
That's what my sister said. You need to use that one. She threw that back in my face.
There you go.
It came right up.
It's so good to see you and have you on here, Beth. District 9. I was talking to the last gentleman running for District 4 and how his district has, some very interesting idiosyncrasies. Yours does as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yours covers, when people that are watching, maybe either not from here, and they're a plethora, and some maybe in other parts of the county, don't really know District 9, but you've got one of the most affluent, if not the most affluent area of Palmetto Bluff. Then you've got, I shouldn't use the word, normal or everyday folk here in, New Riverside and Defusky Island, town of Bluffton, but you also have farmland out here near me in Pritchardville. Mm-hmm. And then Defusky Island itself actually is a whole new ball of tricks because you can't get there by anything other than boat. Being in the insurance industry, how did you, and I asked this pretty much of every candidate that I get to talk to, how did you decide county council? Where did that come from?
It wasn't on my bucket list, that's for sure. I went to one of my friends in Rose Hill invited me to go to the EC meeting. And she said, you need to go. So I really went just for an informational thing. I had been involved with a political group, and a lot of my friends are very, very heavily involved, and I love them. They are amazing people. And fought for, the secure votes and just were amazing. Some had worked on campaigns before. So I just had have a great sphere of political people in my life. And she said, you need to come to this meeting. And I said, okay, I'll just kind of come and see what it's all about. And so I went, and I was the only one in my district. And I said, I think I'd like to be EC, and which is executive committee. And he said, well, you have to be president, secretary, treasurer because we need them to all sign off on the EC. So I'm the president, secretary, treasurer, and EC for my district. And so then they said, you know what? I began to really watch. I began to watch the meetings. I began to see what was going on. The first one, some things that went on in the EC, the first EC meeting last April, just kind of saw that some things just didn't jive with transparency. And I began to watch the council and watch who was voting for what, and didn't really think that they were voting how I would vote. And then I began to listen to some of the people and heard that they didn't feel like they had a voice. And I think that's one of my pet peeves, is that even federally, whatever it is, we don't have a voice. And if we don't feel we have a voice, it's frustrating. And so I like people. I love people, actually. Most of my life has been in the public building relationships. And I like people. I like to listen. I like to dig. I'm a researcher. And so I really thought, I want to go ahead and run. I have no clue. Just like Thomas said, I mean, he voiced a lot of how I feel. I don't really know. I've not been elected before. I've not been on a position like that. But I am, number one, I want to build relationships. Number two, I want to listen to the people and give them a voice. I want to take it back. It doesn't mean I would be only one of 11. So it might not, my vote might not, come through with the final vote, but I sure will fight. I'll fight for the people. I'll fight for what they want. I'll listen to them and take it back. And I think that's all they can ask, is that I listen, I take back, and I fight for the things that they need. And that's what I want to do.
Beth, that is it would take me for a long time to unpack everything you just said, because there are so many good things and I like to hear that. First thing is, yes, the young lady in Rose Hill that got you, is a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. But anyway, and by the way, folks, if you want to ask, I should have said this to the first guest, and I apologize, but you have a question for Beth, put it on your chat bar and it'll get over to us. There you see on the screen, Missy Garrett.
My sister.
Okay, sis. Well, your sister is watching. There she says she's sold, so good to go.
She's in Tom's district.
Okay. Tom Reitz, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Great guy.
So yes, he is. Your opponent, the incumbent, as far as, if I had to pick nice guys, he'd be there on my list. He's a super nice guy. I served on council with him. But the problem, and I talked to a boatload of people in the 9th district, your district, and their problem, the overwhelming problem, is what you just said. We don't have a voice because we never hear back. We never hear from, and it's almost like we are ignored. Can you, and I think I do. I know the answer to this, but can you say, answer this question? Will you be available by any means necessary for the people in District 9 who desperately need to seek out their representative?
I will. One of the things I've heard many of the council people say is that that people call them when they need something. And I don't know Mark very well. I've met him, and he seems like a really nice guy. I don't know him personally, but I do hear that the voice isn't being heard. So yes, I would like to. I've already been over to Defusky. I've ridden around Alljoy. I'm trying to I'm gonna go out door to door and try to get to all the areas. But yes, I will be, and I work a full-time job, but I will be answering at lunchtime. I will be answering calls. I would like to set up quarterly or monthly, or probably monthly is a little bit much, but quarterly meetings. I'd like to go to the different areas and meet with their city councils if I could, meet with the people, the areas, the different developments. Yes, through social media, through my website, phone, text, email, and then just those meetings. Just set up something so they can always feel free to contact me. I don't have my family here. They're scattered all over the place, all the way to England. And so I have my nights, I have my time. And so this is a good time for me to be able to put myself out there for this position, because I do care. I care about our country. I love this area. I don't like what's happening to it. It's when I came in 1996, when visiting my mom, just the drive from 95 to the bridge and over the bridge, it's just amazing. I wanted to get down here so badly, and finally did in 2022. And I want to keep that, and we're losing it. We're losing it. And there's an ad. I don't know if you've seen the national ad for investors, that the Bluffton is the place to invest right now. I mean, that's kind of scary that, because people that live here and that call this home can't even afford somewhere to live. So we need to protect that.
And we're going to talk about that. Some people are chiming in. At Andrew McMahon 8747 says, shout out to Miss Gillespie. Woohoo. There's our friend Nancy Pardo knocking it out of the park. Go Red. Donna Victoria Hines. Oh, okay, Donna, vote red. Take your voice back.
I have great friends.
You do. And the Callie G, this must be a daughter. Go, Mom.
That's my youngest.
There you go.
Propulsion engineer for Chris Craft.
Wow. There you go. So, gosh, there's so many avenues to go with this. Let's start on the ocean end of your district, Defusky Island. Okay. Defusky Island, and I had, and I'm not tooting my horn, but when I was on council, and I still do, as a matter of fact, I helped them with a lot of stuff, and they have been, in my opinion, the stepsister. I'm not going to say redheaded stepsister, but
I get it all the time. I get it at work. I get it all the time. I've accepted it.
The stepchild, because of their location. There has been, I'm not sure how much you watch this on my show, but we were doing exclusive, in-depth reporting about the ferry situation for people going to and from, and I don't mean Hague Point. They have their own thing.
Yeah.
County transportation. How involved will you be with the people of Defusky? And they're again, Hague Point needs to be represented, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about downtown Defusky Island. The people who, the generations that have lived there and continue to live there. There are some that, can't even get back because the ferry can't accommodate them. How involved will you be with making sure the people who live on Defusky, get what is,
necessary,
what's necessary and fair from the county who supplies services?
I'm going to be very involved. And now I don't know all the ins and outs. I know there's a contract, and I know that, I need to research. If I'm elected, I will get on, I will do the research. I will fight. I've talked to several people over there. I went over there for the gala for the independent school last weekend. Wonderful community. Oh my gosh, met some wonderful people. There were some people at my table, and I told them, I said, okay, because I took the Hague ferry because it was evening. So you have the other one doesn't run.
Yep.
So I told them, I said, okay, one Saturday, I'm going to come over. I'm going to take the regular ferry so I can experience it and see what you're saying. And then I'm going to rent a golf cart and I'm going to drive around. And I said, can I come see you? So I've got a date to see some of the people and just drive around and meet people. Yeah, something needs to be done. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I will do my best to research, find out, talk to whoever I can talk to, and see what can be done. And yeah, it's an issue. The roads are an issue. That's another thing they brought up to me. They're dirt roads with gravel, and it's granite, and it flies up, and it's really going into people's lungs. So it could be even a health hazard. So there are some things that definitely the Daufuskie people need. And what a wonderful community.
Mhm.
It's great. I rode around in Alljoy on a golf cart, and they
Another-
were also pointing out some things. There's some things there. So yeah, if I get elected, I will catch myself up. I've got wonderful people on the council that since I have put my hat in, I have met. And some of them are mutual friends, the friend group of the same great people that I hang with. And so I will I want to get information. I want to learn. Like Thomas said, we're going to have to learn. I want to learn all I can about my district, about what's going on by talking to the people, and then also talking to the people that can do anything, that can help, the board also, but also the people above them. What can I do? Where can I go? How can I help? What's legal? What's not legal? So, and the constitutional issue, the hate crime thing. Oh my gosh. I asked the sheriff when we were at I was at the Tea Party meeting. I asked the sheriff about that. I said, this is absurd this is absurd. So I was glad that some of the council members spoke up and that at least it was voted down, at least this steering. I think there's one more reading to it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues, and I will promise to at least do my best to get caught up, listen to everybody's input about it, and then seek out who I can to see if we can get some solutions, because there are definite issues. And those people, like the sewers in Alljoy, they're just now thinking about how long have they been fighting for that issues.
So let's, you're exactly right. And let's briefly about the sewers. There has been a lot of conversation over many years. Myself and Councilman Vox, who held that seat, worked together to acquire some land for a future pumping station to get sewage out and rainwater out of Alljoy. We both got out of office and that never got through. So that's a big project. That is prime. Let's talk about something that you will have absolutely no input in, but you're going to get deluge of questions about, and that is the building of homes in your district. Your district, the jurisdiction, overwhelming jurisdiction for that is the town of Bluffton. There are something like 10 or 11,000, homes in development agreement. It is what it is. And the county has nothing to do with it. That's a town question. But when somebody brings that to you and says, Beth, I live out here in New Riverside, and my God, they're building houses like crazy. And what are we going to do about it? Obviously, you can't answer that with, building permits, but looking at it from an infrastructure issue.
Huge issue.
What's your input? What is your input and concern when it comes to infrastructure to those people who are fighting the heavy growth problem that some county council and town council members have just said, come on in?
Well, and I understand there's some kind of contract that was approved a long time ago. So I need to delve into that a little bit more. I don't really know. I've just kind of heard it on the council meetings. I'm right in the middle of that. I live in between Buck Island and Burnt Church Road. There's that huge apartment complex going up on Buck Island. And then there's that 150 houses going on Britt Church Road toward Alljoy. And then I heard, and I don't know, I'm just speaking off the top of my head, that there could be a permit that was put in for the opposite side on the corner of Britt Church Road and Bluffton Parkway. Don't know if that's true, but if it is, either way, there's a lot of housing going in. I live right in between there. What's my electric? What's my sewer and water? My water pressure? Not to mention the traffic. I have to go over to the island. I work on the island, and it's like, what is that going to do to me right in the middle of it? I'm stuck right in the middle of it. It's huge. We have got to slow down the growth and allow the infrastructure to catch up. It doesn't seem, and again, I'm speaking very ignorantly because I've not been on the board. I'm not privy to everything. Has there been a plan of infrastructure? Is there a plan for all this growth? Or are we just giving out permits and saying, yeah, you can build there. Yeah, you can build there, without thinking about how are we going to do this? And don't tell me you want to tax me another cent when that's another whole issue. But they're wanting to tax us to do something with the infrastructure. And again, like Thomas said, and like you said, the trust isn't there. I told the realtor group when they interviewed me yesterday, I said, no, I'm not for it. I said, I don't have trust. Probably most of the people don't have trust that what our money is said it's going to go for, that it's going to go for, because it didn't in 2018. And they say, oh, well, it's out there. Well, how long did it take them to get it out there? Why hasn't it always been out there? And why aren't projects done? So I think there needs to be complete transparency. Every penny accounted for. I think we need to do like the federal government. Everybody's tired of their tax dollars going to who knows what. We found all of that fraud and all of the misspending in our federal government, and probably haven't even touched half of it. What's going on here in Beaufort County? The playground that was sold for we bought for, and this I got in the council meeting. I heard that there was a playground sold to Charleston. They got it for $200,000, and Beaufort County bought it for $800,000. What is up with that? Are we not being frugal with our money? And I think what we need to do is have a focus. Needs to be right now our infrastructure. Slow all the growth down. Got to slow down. And that means the town council, the city councils, the county councils. We have got to slow down the growth, because it's not good for tourists. It's not good for residents, and it's not good for businesses. What is going on right here? So we have got to stop that, concentrate on our infrastructure, put the spending there, find ways that it's being really bloated spending somewhere, and frivolous spending. Get rid of it, but concentrated.
So when someone says, okay, well, how are we going to pay for that? Is that,
and they did yesterday.
Okay. Is that an answer? Well, let's cut out the waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's find it. Do you believe it is there, that it can be found?
I do. Why are we paying $800,000 for a $200,000 playground? Did we not shop around and see where we could get this and how much it would cost? I know in our HOA we have to get three bids. We get 3 bids to see what is costly. When I go out and I'm trying to get a handyman, or I'm trying to get a bid, I get some different bids. I don't just take the first thing that comes along. Is our county council doing that? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't asked them.
Well, let me ask you, let me put it to you this way, a hypothetical, but this is a hypothetical that has really happened. If you're sitting on county council as the District 9 representative, and I don't know, pick something, they want to buy a new dump truck. They need a new dump truck. It's part of their improvement plan. And the county, during the presentation, the procurement officer says, well, we sent it out for a bid, but we only had 1 bid come back. And the administrator says, well, we just need to take that because that's the best bid. What does Beth Gillespie say to that?
First of all, I'm going to say, do we really need that dump truck right now? Because we've got some other issues besides a dump truck. Is it absolutely necessary? So that's my first question. Number 2, I would say, I don't care where you get the bids, go out and get some bids. We have to have 3 bids. An HOA has to have 3 bids. We're talking about a county. We're talking about county money. That's a lot of money. And we have a lot of things. I've seen them, just people coming to the county for money. We've got to get focused, and we've got to get directed vision on what is the thing that we want most. When I was HOA president, took over an HOA, we had 0 in reserves. My focus, 132 condos, 0 in reserves, and operating on $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which is absurd. I have my own views and thoughts about what was going on, but it doesn't matter. I was focused on building the reserves. It was a must. So we maintained everything. So it looked nice. But if a tree had to be cut down because it was dead, we cut it down. And people were saying, oh, you need to replace it. It looks awful. No, I'm not going to replace it, because it's not our focus right now. We need to build the reserves. Once we build the reserves, then maybe we can go and we can put shrubs in where they've come down or they've died, or put a new tree in. We can't be putting money everywhere out there. We need to be laser focused on what the prime thing is, the issue is. And I believe that's infrastructure right now. That's my personal, again, I'm coming from it with not having sat through all of what they're going through, what they're hearing, but that's what I'm seeing is infrastructure. Slow the growth. Let's do the infrastructure.
You know, you and Thomas both had pretty much the same, the same.
Yeah, I know. I felt like I was listening to myself.
Hey, I'm not there. I really don't know, but here's my thought, because sometimes those people who have been there too long are the ones that need to go. It's out of the mouth of babies comes, the best common sense. Let me ask you this, speaking about spending, and we're coming to the end. Speaking about spending, what is your feelings of just on the surface, nothing too deep, but giving other counties money, and I mean millions of dollars of money, but they're going to pay us back for something that'll benefit both counties in a feel-good thing. How is your feeling about giving or loaning money to other counties? They're going to pay you back, no question. But just on the surface, I'm curious.
I go back to, we have to focus on the infrastructure and the things that are affecting our county, not somebody else's. We can't do that. As much as we would like to do things, much as we would like to do some great projects, we can't. We are at a dire crossroads here with our infrastructure and the growth that they've allowed to happen. We've got to, and people do need to realize that the city or town councils do a lot of things that the county council gets blamed for. I think I didn't really understand that until the last several months. And I think people need to realize that they need to be complaining to their city or town council rather than the county council for some of the things that they're doing. We need to be laser focused. And I'm frugal. So I'm frugal. I was a single mom late in my life, and raising a 6-year-old, and my last 2 were at home. One was a junior in high school. The other one was 6 years old. And I had to get a temp job. I'd been home, and I had to get a job. I was making $12 an hour and paying my house bill. Well, I had never done that before. I was married very early, and I didn't buy things that I wanted because I didn't have it. Yeah. So I was very focused on paying my bills, getting things that my kids needed. And that was it. I didn't have a flashy car. I broke down many times. I didn't have much. I didn't get new clothes. I didn't go out to eat. I focused on surviving. I was in survival mode. And you know what? I'm grateful to God that he has given me what he's given me. And I'm here where I've always wanted to be. And I have a beautiful condo. And it's, it's not, I'm not on the island. I'm here in Bluffton. I love it. I love my neighbors. And I love the people, my friends and my friend group and where I work. I just am very grateful for what God has given me here. But you know what? I was frugal. We've got to be frugal.
Frugal Franny in the house. Get ahead and vote red.
Get ahead, vote for red.
Beth Gillespie, gosh, it's just so awesome to talk with you. I know we have emailed several times. I appreciate you being on the show. Last word for the voters, even though I want to have you back on here before the primary, but if a voter's going, wow, gosh, I just don't know, it's either her or him, why should they vote for you?
Well, I can't say I know as much as he does. He's been on there for, I think, 8 years. And you've got to vote for who you feel is going to represent you best. I will tell you that I will do my best. I will do the research I need. I will read all of what they give me on Fridays for the Monday votes. And I will lean on my friends and you and other council members for input where I don't know. I will seek help to learn. And if you want to meet and greet, give me a call. My website is Beth4countycouncil.com, and it has my email on there. And I'm more than glad to have a meet and greet and meet you. Come out to where you live, meet your neighbors. I'm more than glad to do that. And then you have to vote for who you want. You have to vote for who your heart tells you that is going to represent you the best.
Awesome. I'm excited for you. As Nancy Pardo York put it right here on the screen, a breath of fresh air. Also, your sister says, get ahead and vote for red. Beth Gillespie, ladies and gentlemen. Beth, thank you so much for being on here. We look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. It is 8:32 right here on Big Patriot Radio and
Drop the tailgate, y'all.
Your attention, please.
You're listening worldwide to DJ Magic Mike
We're gonna have a good time
on BigPatriotRadio.com.
All right. We want to give a special thank you to Thomas Grigowski and Beth Gillespie, candidates for county council. Beth in District 9 over in the Bluffton area, and Thomas in District 4 over in Port Royal.
Good.
Oh, there we go. Appreciate them both for coming on. Newbies, if you will, but both of them they got the right idea. We'll see if we can't talk to some of their opponents. Don't forget, as we're ending the night here in just a second, don't forget Beaufort County's House of Cards, BigPatriotRadio.com, and Heather Rath Consulting are hosting a GOP Sheriff's Forum on May 19th, live and in person. Put that on your calendar. Live and in person on the 19th of May. It'll be in the late afternoon, very, very early evening at here in Bluffton. We'll let you know. There's going to be an Eventbrite invitation sent out. Just get your ticket. It's free, totally free. We're not charging anybody for anything. Please show up. Please show up and hear JoJo Woodward and Doug Seifert, both wanting your vote for sheriff. And again, that is May the 19th. This is probably we really haven't had a vote that didn't involve for sheriff, that didn't involve our current sheriff, PJ Tanner, for, I guess it's been 30 years. Of course, he is retiring. So this is super, super important. All right. That's going to do it for this week. We're going to be back next week at 7 o'clock on Facebook, YouTube, and simulcasting on BigPatriotRadio.com. We've got a really cool twist. So we got a local group coming on. Three members of this group. They're coming on. And we're going to find out a political group. We're going to hear some things that I hope you'll find refreshing, interesting. Gosh, we just can't wait to hear from them. We got to talk about elections. We've also got County Councilman Columbus District Paula Brown. She's going to be coming on. We've heard from Michael Anderson over in District 4. We're just waiting on him to pick a date. Hopefully it'll be next week. We think that's going to be. So we'll have him on. Don't forget, please like and share the show from Facebook, YouTube, however you're watching. Also, be sure to click on this right here. This little right there. And this is hard. That little QR code. BuyMeACoffee.com/radio. Really appreciate that. We super appreciate all the folks with the messages. All right. We're going to see you next week. And until then, watch your six. Be safe, America.
I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go. I know I should sleep, but the voices in my head go.